This is Travis Wayne Goodsell. Last night's John Oliver show, and if you haven't seen the news feed, he talked with Monica Lewinsky about public shaming. She was a victim of public shaming. One day she's a nobody. She's private. Nobody knows who she is. The next day, everybody around the whole entire world knows who she is, and they've already labeled her. And now we're in the age of social media, and this is what I've had to deal with on my website, because if I just allowed anyone and everyone to attack me on my website when I do a video exposing the church, I would be silenced, and I would allow the Mormon bullies to successfully and improperly defend the church against the abuses that they are committing throughout the world. And if you notice, this is what my channel is designed around, is to publicly shame the church. This is the defense mechanism that I did not have available to me in 2008 when I gave the government my redress of grievances in a book form. Now I'm able to protect myself from any such further retaliation by the government. And it's because of the use of social media and the ability to publicly shame the church, publicly shame the government, which I have to do on my website page because nobody cares on YouTube. And as long as YouTube is functioning properly, I've had to report a problem to YouTube again today. My popular views are now coming up as a mixed bag and not in any popular order. So yeah, they've got a new program or something that they've installed, and it's messing everything up. And I'm also recognizing an inaccurate view count under my name in a search engine. It'll show a list of my videos, and it'll show the number of views. If I go to my channel and I look up the video list, it shows a different number of views, and then if I click on the video, the number of views listed on the video is also different. So 3 different view counts depending on how I look at it, and it's inconsistent. Sometimes the video itself shows less than the number of views from the video count, and vice versa. So there's something really wrong going on with YouTube's programming, and it's messing things up, because I can no longer see which one's my top videos now, and that's what I was hoping to do, is be able to see which ones are doing well that I've recently done, and the ranking that they are in comparison with my other videos, which have been long-standing for some time now. And yeah, so I had to report that. But yeah, this is why I do it, guys. I'm in Utah. I'm still being attacked by the church through their minions. Remember, it is dominantly Mormon. And because it's dominantly Mormon, those who fill the seats of government are Mormon. Those who fill the seats of business are Mormon. Those who are in the positions of police are Mormon. And so in order to protect myself, it's necessary to get the word out. And I also do a counterattack with exposing the corruption of the church, going right to the core problem that they have, as well as the surface problems that they exhibit. And this technique is the most effective, especially in a day and time where so much hatred is being cast about all over the internet. So many lies being cast about all over the internet. And that's why I had to point out to you guys that my ID has been stolen. And so if I do become popular, I do expect a lot of fake news to surface, a lot of fake accounts of who knows what will surface. When I was involved in the government, for example, had on record that I had owned a car, and that when I first bought that car, it was when I was incarcerated for that 6-year period of time. And I had to tell the government, no, I was incarcerated. I do not own that car. Somebody else has put it in my name. Somebody else has been using my identity to get away with things, to buy things on my name. And yeah, it would be nice if I had a car. It seemed like it was a pretty decent car. But no, I didn't have a car. And they were showing it was an asset that I had. And I had to say, no, I do not have that asset. I've been locked up. I lost everything. So I need to protect myself. And having a worldwide audience is that protection. And if our government wants to cut off people protecting themselves from the government, all they need to do is cut us off. Send us back into the days of having no voice, silencing us. And so, yes, over and over again, I go after the church, because Bishop Reed Hammond thought that he could stop me from talking about the Book of Mormon being the official doctrine of the Mormon Church. And so, yes, if you notice, from that video, way back when, until now, I've been hammering the church hard. And it's not lies. It's not hatred. It's exposure. I've been in deep in this church. I know how they function. I know the changes that have taken place over the course of almost 50 years now. There have been changes made doctrinally, internal thinking processes, the difference between Utah Mormons and outside Mormons. Big difference in thought. But now I'm noticing California Mormons down in Southern California. There are those who maintain the Utah belief. So there's a conversion or an exodus from Utah to California, or missionary conversion that is developing pockets outside of Utah in the Utah thinking process. And so this is a huge problem. And Mormons don't care, because as you'll see, they still are able to put a thumbs down. I cannot delete the thumbs downs. And like the video I did earlier today, they're projecting. They do it. it's not me making a false accusation that, oh, you guys are projecting and I'm innocent and you're bad. And thus I would be then projecting. But no, this is the Mormons. As long as I'm right and truthful and not projecting, it's legitimate. And then the Mormons then are the ones who are attacking me after the church has already attacked me, thus victimizing the victim. And all they're doing is projecting what abuses they're causing in their own lives, using me as their outlet to expose themselves. So yeah, I've seen some really dark and evil comments that I've had to delete. Unfortunately, just like Monica Lewinsky said, she's been able to delete comments through the social media process, and she feels empowered by that. She wishes it didn't have to happen, and I share that. I wish I didn't have to delete people and ban people, but yes, it is empowering. With a click of a button, I can remove a comment or remove a person to hide them from my website. And people have even tried to use the subtle tactic to silence me by saying, hey, no, Travis, you need to give these people their freedom of speech. You need to give them a voice. No, I don't. Lies do not get a voice. Hate does not get a voice. Threats, bullying do not get a voice. That's the problem with social media, is that they need to prevent bullies from using the internet. Bullies cannot silence other people. That is what our Constitution intended, is that people were free to speak as long as they granted everyone's rights to life, liberty, and property. When you spew hatred, when you spew lies, you destroy another person's life, liberty, and property, as Monica Lewinsky pointed out. And as I was silenced and had my life ruined and destroyed for 6 years because I was denied a voice, and the voice of the powerful and those in control reigned supreme. And my voice from the Deseret News, let's not forget how the church was involved with that, because the Deseret News, upon my arrest, had all of my voice removed from the comments of all their archived information prior to that day. Now that takes pure evil. That takes a directive from the board of directors, who is the prophets of the church. They knew I had been arrested. Don't be fooled by the discovery saying that only church security was in consult with the Attorney General, Mark Shurtleff. No. The brethren of the church knew also. And they gave the orders. They directed everything that was going on to me. And they made sure to remove me from the historical records. But now I have a voice, because they messed up and let me go. Because time went by and people forgot. People didn't understand why I was locked up. And everybody just assumed, oh yeah, Travis has got such an extreme mental illness that he has to be here. He will never get out. Whatever. So, yeah. Don't be fooled, Mormons. I know you, and I did that video. I know you Mormons. I wonder how that one's doing. I haven't seen that one in a long time. That's buried down deep from a long time ago. But, yeah, the church is evil, Mormons. I know it. I've been a supporter of the church, despite seeing my parents not act in accordance with the church. They acted contrary and imposed on me contrary to church processes and procedures. But I just thought, oh, that's just my parents. And I didn't blame the church for it. Then I get to Rick's. And then I say, okay, well, maybe it's just Mormons. And then I move to Utah. Okay, well, maybe local leaders, because they're at the local level, like the members. So as you see, it's escalating. And it's getting tougher and tougher to leave the church out of it, because it's a systemic problem now. My parents, the members, the local leaders, you know, I've told you the stories. A bishop who's never even read the Book of Mormon and condemned me for reading the Book of Mormon, saying that I'm an intellectual. He had the position of authority, and therefore he thought he was in the right because, well, he's never read the Book of Mormon, and look where he is at. He's now a bishop. He gets rewarded for not reading the Book of Mormon, not becoming an intellectual. Because somebody who reads the Book of Mormon is an intellectual. And then other examples. The bishop that helped my first wife abandon the marriage and kidnap my kids and steal my property, of whom he thought it was funny to expose himself to little children. Thus I call him Lester the child molester Nielsen. He was promoted, elevated to the stake presidency from being a bishop. This is how it works. This is the code protection that goes on. They protect each other here so that they can continue to do wickedness, corruption. And it's not until somebody says, okay, you've gone too far, or you get caught in a sting with others who are not Mormon, like the bishop who was caught in a multiple person sting operation. It just happened to be an officer with the police force as well as an LDS bishop. And so those are unfortunate situations for them, probably, because they realize, oh man, he got caught, but yet, you know, he'd done it for years. And so now they're worried, oh man, how long has this gone back? We can't protect him anymore. And so, yeah, it goes to the church. The church is responsible. The code that the church puts out is understood by the members who want to do wickedness. And they do wickedness when the church puts out the code. Just like Trump. Trump puts out the code, and all white supremacist groups then are activated and have escalated their crimes, their abuses, their hatred. It's that simple how it works. And the church is more eloquent and more concealing than Trump is. Trump is just a blatant outward person, but they put him in a position of the presidency. Just like that bishop. You know, he didn't read the Book of Mormon, but they made him a bishop. And so he then was justified in whatever he did by virtue of being a bishop. The stake president didn't stop him, because the stake president received revelation to put him in that position and wanted him to learn. When somebody does wrong, you pull them immediately. And so this is where social media helps. So Nurse Wubbles, if you're not familiar with her, she was doing her job at the University of Utah Hospital. And the police officer was not doing his job. He did not follow proper procedure and protocol. He thought he could bypass all of that. And Nurse Wubbles said, no, go through the proper processes that are already set in place. No, I'm an officer, give it to me now. No, you're under arrest. Her video did not go viral for at least 2 months after her arrest. Once it got out, boom, it hit the world. And then the Salt Lake City police were then forced to take action and fire him. They had no choice at that point. And so in order to de-escalate the situation, because it was going right to the core of their system, and the system of all police forces here in Utah. So they made sure to make him the sacrificial lamb because he was the one that got caught. But it's a systemic problem here in Utah. All police officers are trained with that type of mentality to get away with the law in order to get the arrest, to get the job done. And so with him being the sacrifice, they're hoping that it's now silenced, that others can continue to do it, but they got to be more discreet next time so that they don't get caught like this officer did. And thus, those of us with a voice use it when we expose West Valley City Police for threatening me and getting it all recorded. There is a recording. They're not releasing the recording. They're not coming out and communicating with me. This is the report you filed. This is what we've done in the investigation, and this is how we're handling it. They're not communicating that to me. So I have to continually remind them, hey, no, you cannot treat me like this. And I use social media. And so Bishop Hammond, he thought he could silence me on social media. So I used social media to expose him. You know, yes, when he and I were talking, he said, I don't want you publishing the Book of Mormon as the official doctrine of the church. So how did I respond to him when he was telling me this? I used the Book of Mormon examples against him. Abinadi. It's easy to do. The Book of Mormon is all about corruption. How to identify it, how to expose it. You know, the Antichrist stories. You know, an Antichrist comes up, causes a disturbance in the community, and then a prophet comes in, and they battle it out with a debate, and the prophet ends up winning. And so, yeah, it's easy to go against Mormons who attack me. I just use their Book of Mormon. I use the tactics that are mentioned in the Book of Mormon. And I can confound any Mormon who attacks me. It's that simple. And like the other video I did earlier today, you guys are projecting. So you automatically lose when you attack me, because you're projecting about what you are truly guilty of. So when you put your thumbs down, and I saw on that projection video that somebody did put the thumbs down already, they think they're being clever because nobody will know who they are. It doesn't matter. You know who you are. You were projecting. You just revealed you are an enemy to God. You are an enemy to the church. You are an enemy to humanity. You may think, oh, Travis, that's a bit extreme. No, it's not. The hatred that exists in our day is of such extremity. I mean, you guys have not been victimized if you don't think that if you think that's extreme. There are human beings who suffered under the hand of hatred, not just in the government making laws that torture and enslave the people, but by regular civilians, members of the church, who embrace the laws of the land and turn it into a survival of the fittest battle. So I just wanted to share this with you. I didn't write it down. I had a couple other videos that I had ideas for this morning. Token charity is not charity. And the Mormon prophets are hated not because they are preaching repentance, but because they're torturing people. They're the ones that need repentance. So, yeah. I may eventually get to those. My pile is now getting huger and huger. So if it gets too huge, it'll go on the pile behind me here. So, alright. So yes, Mormons, I will continually push to publicly shame you and the church. I will not allow you guys to silence me. I will not allow abuse to continue against me. I will stand up and I will fight. Like I said in that other video that's popular, unless I click on the popular list of my YouTube channel, it no longer shows up among the top. Because YouTube needs to fix their problem. But gloves are off. I warned you guys, Mormons. I warned the church. But you guys kept pushing. And we got conference coming up. I still need to do the video about the Pope and Putin speaking at conference. I got to be the first, because I saw a Dodger game. I was talking about wanting to do 101 things about the church that they're doing wrong. Well, I saw the other day, he now has a video. 101 things about the church that's wrong. So he beat me to it, but I talked about it first. So, and I'm sure his video version is different than what I would have come up with, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, he sort of speaks from his viewpoint rather than personal experience, as far as I can tell. So his is more of he can get easily silenced by someone who's saying, hey, no, what you're saying is false. You're using your own personal bias against the church. And so he's in jeopardy for that. But again, he's protected with the ability to delete and ban people. So, all right, I'll be back.